Yeah, welcome to the Weege Show. I'm Jason Weigandt here, no longer in Indy, but Monster Energy Supercross is, and we're going to preview it. When we got to Indy, and I was there for the first race, I said it would be very pivotal for everyone to figure out where they fit in. Eli Tomac, Cooper Webb, and Ken Roczen had already proven their championship bona fides for this year. They were the best three riders last year. Unlike most internet videos, I will actually give you factual statistical proof to back that up. Again, they were 1, 2, 3 in points. They won 15 of the 17 events last season. They all left Houston, I think, feeling reasonably confident they would be in the championship hunt this year, just like they were a year ago. The question was, could anyone else hang with them? What I did not think would happen is that we'd actually run into a situation where one rider would begin to separate himself all by himself from the rest of the field. And that's what Ken Roczen has done. I do not want to give credit here. This absolutely positively pains me to do this. But my man, Steve Matthes, in between mopping the floors at Pro Circuit, he actually did that in 2019. He noted that this year Ken Roczen could have won 4 of the 5 races that have run thus far. It's true, he's won the last 2. He was battling with Justin Barcia for the win at the opener, and you're not going to hear the riders tell you this, but I will tell you what they are thinking. I know this. I've talked to them off the record. They are afraid to run into Justin Barcia because they know if you hit him, he's going to hit you back much harder. So when Roczen got into a 50-50, I don't know if I can make this pass situation twice at the opener, he chose not to do it. And when Roczen did pass him the race the other night, oh my gosh, did Roczen go hard and try to get away and not get hit. So Roczen chose better of it in round 1, but he certainly rode fast enough to potentially have won that race. And then round 3, we know he was leading the entire time until he got held up by Dean Wilson. So that's the potential to win 4 of the first 5. He has a 13-point lead, I believe, right now. If he got 1 or 2 of those wins and didn't have the Red Cross points penalty, he'd be looking at nearly a full race lead in the standings already. That is amazing. Now, there is a caveat to all of this, and that is well known if you're Eli Tomac and you're the ever-salty Cooper Webb, who is always going to find a way to stay in the championship hunt. And that is, we have seen Roczen be very strong at the beginning of championships before. In fact, now I swear I don't have a laptop teleprompter in front of me every other time I do this show. But I do have notes in front of me. I want to note that Ken Roczen has led the 450 Supercross points in 2014, 2015, 2017, 2019, and in 2020. Yes, that's right. He's led it almost every year he's been in the class. And obviously, he's never come home with the points lead at the end of the year with the championship. So that's certainly not lost on the other riders in this field. And I don't think it bothers Eli Tomac or Webb right now that Roczen's strong through the first, not even quite third of the championship. In fact, nothing seems to bother Eli Tomac right now. This is unbelievable. It's 2 races in a row where he's finished second to Roczen, and he's smiling and laughing through his reaction to it.
It's not good when you see that. That's all there is to it. You know, you got to hope for a mistake or something because I know how these races have been going. So yeah, when you see the guy that's ahead of you in points and run away, it's like, oh man, we got to get going. So did what we could though. I mean, came up okay, right? I think I was like maybe 8th or 9th or somewhere around the finish line the first lap. So you know, I was somewhat happy on the comeback, but obviously the guys that we don't want to finish in front of us finish in front of us. So yeah, that's it.
It's a new lease on life for Eli Tomac. He's already got this Supercross championship. So for once, that big pressure thing is off his shoulders. He's also reached that magical age. I always say right around 27 and then into 28 and 29. These riders start to really understand the business of racing, how to deal with the fans and the media and all that pressure, and also perform well at the racetrack. We just need our athletes to get there. If Ryan Villopoto had gotten to that point, if Ryan Dungey had gotten to that point, I think they'd be a lot more relaxed in their interviews as well, but they chose to retire before they got to this age. So we're lucky that Tomac is around. By the way, he's a father. That seems to have leveled him out as far as stressing over the results as well. So that's good news if you're an Eli Tomac fan. You know it's not like he's going to try less or not want it as bad. He still is going to give it his full effort to try to beat Roczen this year. But the problem is that Roczen has the same new mental outlook that Tomac does as well. He's reached that magical age as well. He's a dad now as well. And although he doesn't have that Supercross championship on his mantle, he's talked quite a bit in every single press conference before and now during the season about having a new mental makeup where he's not stressing the results. This is Ken Roczen, who once had a butt patch that said, "Bleed for this." This is Ken Roczen, who wanted everybody to know how gnarly he was and how good he was and that he was going to do this. And this year, Ken Roczen just keeps saying he wants to keep things super mellow.
I had fun out there, and I'm still over the moon about it, but at the same time, I've learned from the past and just keeping it super mellow. And, when I show up on Saturday, I'm going to try to do the same thing again, but I don't let this high get too high on me.
I think the potential to win 4 of the first 5 races proves that this is the best start Ken Roczen has ever had to the start of the Supercross Championship. I'm not going to say he's faster than he was at the scintillating start of the 2017 season, but he didn't even make it out of round 3 then. And then the press asked him to compare those 2 seasons, and the new super mellow Kenny couldn't even compare it.
It's really difficult to compare. Even though I was great in 16 and 17, I'm mentally in a completely different spot. So back then, I feel like I wrote the highs a lot more than I do now. And but I think in general, I'm just quite a bit older, and a lot has happened in between there and then. So it's really hard for me to compare that kind of stuff. I don't know. I'm more comfortable than even back then. I don't know how to explain it. I'm just more mature mentally.
Yeah, so look, Kenny has changed everything mentally and physically, and all the other pieces are obviously in place. For example, obviously he likes that new Honda. And speaking of that, this video is brought to you by the Honda Talon Sports Side-by-Side. 2 different models, an X and an R. A little bit narrower, more nimble for East Coast trails, wider with more suspension travel, 20 plus inches in the back for bombing through the whoops out west. But each model is also available in 4-seater, family-friendly form, and the rear seats actually have stadium seating, and they're a little bit more inboard for a more social experience with your full family. I would love to take my family of 4 out in one of those Honda. I'll send you my address. For you folks, highly recommend you get yourself one. You can't drive a Talon and not smile. And correction, actually, that was Daniel Tosh that said you can't ride a personal watercraft without smiling. I said it was Dave Chappelle. Sorry, at least I got the years that Roczen was leading the Supercross points correct. So we've got this new Ken Roczen attitude, this new Ken Roczen training program, the physical, the mental, the mechanical with the bike. So that's the question. Are we going to see Ken Roczen with red plates at the beginning of the season and not be able to hold it to the end? Certainly if you're Webb and Tomac, that's what you're hoping for, and that's what maybe you're counting on. But I don't think you can count on what Ken Roczen has done in the past being repeated here in 2021, and that's what makes this race, round 6, the 3rd race at Indy, so pivotal. I can't imagine that Tomac's going to take, say, 3 straight losses and still be smiling. And I know that Cooper Webb is not pumped about this. He's just too salty for that, right? He doesn't want to see Roczen started to pull away in points. He had to deal with trying to come back in the series last year. He doesn't want to put himself in that kind of a hole again. So those guys are going to be motivated to stop this momentum. And then there's everyone else. So I said at the top of this video, when we came into the Indy tilt, I said, look, if you're not in this championship fight by the time we leave Indy, you're not going to get back into it. It's just never happened in the history of Supercross. No one starts the year first, third, 6th in points and 30 points back and then just starts putting it together. It doesn't happen. I know Ricky Carmichael once said the series begins at Daytona, but he usually had the points lead by the time they got to Daytona. Even he didn't come from 6th to 1st or something like that. So for the luckless riders, such as Zach Osborne and Marvin Musquin, who've been very fast this year but don't have the results to show for it, they've got to respond now, or I think it's too late, at least for the championship. And those Yamaha guys, I'm still waiting. They've been riding good, but that next step for Ferrandis or Plessinger or Malcolm Stewart, they've all had their moments. They've all proven they're capable. But I think someone else, one of these other guys, Justin Barcia at the top of that list, they've got to win on Saturday night, or their championship hopes, I think, are done. No hate comms here, folks. I'm just telling you, in the history of Supercross, that's just not how it works. And we've already seen with factual statistical proof how good Tomac, Webb, and Roczen are. The real question is this: are we seeing the same Ken Roczen we've seen in other years, starting the season off looking practically unbeatable, or at least holding the points lead, and then running into bumps in the road as the year goes on? Certainly he's got the mental part leveled out. The physical side and all the other random racing luck that is completely out of the control of him or anyone else, well, there's no predicting that, and that's what makes the racing exciting. But as of right now, there's no doubt about who the man on top of Supercross is. He's keeping it super mellow. He doesn't have an ego about it. None of those things. But all you got to do is look at the facts. He could have won 4 of the first 5 races. He could be looking at a giant points lead in the series. And his points lead is actually pretty big for 5 races, considering some of the hard luck he's had. And he hasn't let any of that hard luck bring him down. So if he's going to be brought down, someone else is going to have to do it. Will it be Tomac? Will it be Webb? Will it be someone else? Should be good racing on Saturday, because this little area right here, these 4, 5, 6 rounds of the championship, probably the most important of all. So let's see who takes it. Thanks to the Honda Talon family of sports side-by-sides for bringing you these videos. See you after the race.